almost didn't happen because I'm a freelance writer, and a friend of mine hit me up and she was like, oh, Playboy's looking for writers, and I was like, that's cool. Like, I don't know what you want from me. So I left it alone because in my mind I was like, Playboy's a great brand, but I don't know that that necessarily aligns with what I do. And then another friend, completely unrelated, Playboy's looking for writers. I'm like, okay, I get it. Don't do anything about it. A third friend, Playboy's looking for writers. And I was like, okay, I get it. So everyone sent me Anita's tweet looking for people to reach out. And I was like, you know what, it won't hurt to just send her an email, put together some pitches, see what happens. So I put together, I'm not gonna lie, some pretty basic pitches. That's very hard to say, by the way, basic pitches. Don't get that confused. Sent it to Anita, and bless her soul, she was like, we already have these written up, so we don't need all this done. I was like, oh man, okay, I tried, right? But then she was like, but you know what? I looked at your website. I've been running a love and dating website called The Problem with Dating for the last 7 years now. And she was like, I love what you're doing. Would you be interested in creating mindful dating and relationship content as a columnist for Playboy? And I was like, ooh, keyword mindful. So I was like, what? Because I didn't know that was the route they were going in. The Playboys I remember were the ones in my dad's garage when I was a kid. So I was like, okay. So we started doing that, and I quickly realized that the Playboy I grew up to know is not the Playboy that is out right now. And the content that they're putting out is so meaningful and so intellectual and is really sparking dialogue that needs to happen. So once that relationship started, it's blossomed, and it's almost been 2 years now, which is crazy. And I think it's a great thing to recognize that the brand has become something so much greater than I think what we still continue to think of it as. So that lends to my first question to Anita. With Playboy being this iconic brand that was known in the past for just, publishing naked women, to now redirecting and rebranding in a way that includes so much more than just the photo aspect of it. Can you give us the editorial perspective of that decision process and going through the rebrand and going in this different direction and kind of how that's been received so far?
Right. So much of our recent rebrand was about reconceptualizing not just how we shoot our Playmates and shoot our pictorials, but also how we write about nudity and how we write about women's bodies. And I believe it was the spring 2019 issue, we worked with this amazing Pulitzer Prize winning Middle East reporter, Lindsay Addario, to profile the very important work of Yemeni American artist Yumna Al-Arashi, who specializes in nude self-portraits. And something that we've really been trying to do is just completely change the perspective and the voice of how we write about women's bodies and make it more akin to how someone would talk about, art hanging in a museum. Like if you see a portrait of a nude woman, at MoMA or at the Getty, you're going to talk about it in a certain way, and it's going to be more akin to appreciation and not objectification. And in so many discussions about nudity, I feel like that angle is often missing. So for the past 2 years at Playboy, we've been trying to reintroduce that into the public discourse with a lot of meaningful explorations from these really just world-class writers. And I feel like it's been received really well. I've had a lot of writers hitting me up who are part of that very intellectual upper class, saying that they want to write about sex and they want to write about nudity, because we're helping to elevate the discussion on those things.
Yeah. So Jamie,